Hey guys, Blue Kool-Aid here. We're gonna do a video here, guys. What do you think about that? I know I haven't been. I was putting out videos about every other day at least, and I know I've kind of cut back a little bit because I've been having to focus on my family a little bit more, and myself and my health. So you guys, I spoke on that a little bit, but had some kidney stone issues I needed to get taken care of and taking care of my daughter. But anyway, I'm going to go on to the actual subject of the beginning of this. So what I'm going to talk about is my comment section. Okay, I love the comments, guys. That's what we need. We need conversation. Okay, we learn more that way. But there's a couple rules that I've always had on here on my channel. Is first rule is obviously no vulgarity. Okay, if you start dropping, the big V word or just getting disgusting, I'll just delete it immediately. If you use the word ass or shit or damn, just trying to get your point across, that's going to stay up, okay? It's no big deal. But, get into vulgarity, it's coming off with a quickness. And if I have a bunch of those, then I'll just have to block people. I've never had to do that yet, but I will if it continues from the same people. The next thing would be to attack other subscribers or other YouTube channels. I don't allow that either because I just don't think it's the proper place for it. I don't think anybody should come here and feel uncomfortable about looking at my comment section. So, again, any attack on anybody other than me. You guys want to come at me with whatever, as long as you don't put the vulgarity in there, I'll leave the comment set. I really do. Also, I take a screenshot to protect myself and to protect the person, believe it or not, that actually wrote it. That way nobody can lie about anything. So if somebody leaves a really, really nasty comment and then goes back and decides they don't want to leave it there, most likely I've probably already got a screenshot of it. And then, if you delete it, it just goes out of the system, but I'll still have a screenshot of it. So, but anyway, please guys, just be adults, guys, and just, no attacking each other. But attack me all you want. If I feel like it needs, I do appreciate your guys' passion on this stuff. You guys should hold fast to what you believe. Okay? I don't want anybody to do anything different. But keep an open mind sometimes about what we're seeing. And I understand how it can get really frustrating. I really do. And to that guy that, I'm not going to say the name, thank you for at least apologizing and recognizing. I know we don't agree on what we were talking about, but we can still be civil, okay? So, and I do appreciate the apology that you gave me on that. I really do. It goes a long way with me for sure. Not that that matters, but it also says a lot about your character that you can at least, recognize. And again, I do appreciate passion. So, come at me all you want. Okay? Just no vulgarity. But anyway, this capture right here, guys, is something that a lot of channels have already talked about. And Scott over at Planet X News sent me this, some of these maps I'm getting ready to show you. And it helped out a lot. It helped me understand. And it's going to help me explain it to you guys what I'm talking about. Now, the thing is, obviously, this big object right here. Well, it's got a second object there. This is Mercury, and I'll show you here in a few minutes why that's Mercury. But what is this, right? This is, that's a very large object. Okay? It could be one of the bigger objects in the Nibiru system that's coming in or already here. And it's dragging this with it. That's kind of the direction I'm leaning here, but I'm not going to just say that right now. It most likely is, but it's definitely something. That's not a camera anomaly, guys. At least in my opinion, it's not. If it was a camera anomaly, they usually just look way different than that. That's just something, let alone the second object out there to the right. So, what I'll do here is I'll take you to the map I want to show you. This right here is a map of where that satellite is sitting, okay? What we're looking at is, what we just looked at was stereo A, right? Well, that's stereo A. Here's the Earth. Stereo A is always looking the direction of the sun. It's in Earth orbit, which means it's taking the same orbital path around the sun as the Earth is, and it's moving at the same speed of the Earth. So the distance between the satellite and the Earth will never change. Okay, and it also means that it's never going to see the Earth either, because it's not looking that direction. Now the question was, that big object, could it have been Venus or another planet? Well, here's when we start getting into perspective and field of view. Okay, again, and Scott put this map together. This one right here really, brought it home for me. But core 2 sitting right here, right? These blue lines represent the line of sight for the camera. Okay, and that's being very, very generous, I think, and I think that Scott actually agrees that it's probably more like this. Well, not quite that small, but it's considerably smaller. Okay, now you stretch this out, you're going to see Mercury. Remember I told you guys that was Mercury over there? Well, Venus ain't even in the field of view. Obviously, Earth's not going to be, and Mars is back way over here right now. So, hopefully you guys understood that part of it. So, what do we do from here? What are we talking about, right? Well, we'll go back to that. That was on the 12th. It was on the 14th of December, and it's a great capture. I don't know what else to say about that part of it, but I had a sub, and I think it was Brian, I believe, that was researching some of this stuff. He caught a CME back in 2017 on September 10th. Okay, and it lasted it kept blowing in the same spot multiple times, and decent sized ones. Okay, so I started researching it myself a little bit. I would go forward past the 10th, and I would go behind to see if I could catch or see anything. Well, on the 5th, I see this. Okay, this is last year, 2017. Now, this object looks very similar to the one I just showed you. Plus, if you look, that's possibly that second object. Because on the edge of this camera view, we don't normally see white. Okay, like a light. This object right here is definitely putting off its own light. Okay, now I'm going to show you the up and down that I did create here. It's right there. Nope, that wasn't it. That was ridiculous. Where's that? There it is. Okay. Here's the up and down. Right? Okay. So these are both those captures. This is 2018. This is 2017. Okay. They're very similar. Really, really similar. Are they the same object? I mean, I think it's a good possibility. Especially given that they both have an object off to their right that showed up. And then the next question you're probably going to want to know is, why is it kind of a little bit more misshapen up here? Well, my humble opinion here is this picture here isn't showing as much light. So it's kind of like the corona of the sun makes the sun look bigger than what it is. If this thing right here is closer to the satellite, the light might look more intense, hence the little bit of ruggedness we see along the edges here. So, anyway, that's what I think. I think these are probably the same objects. They possibly could not be. I don't know for sure, but I'm leaning that direction. I really don't know how I could prove that they're both the same, unless it was just like dead nuts right on. But anyway, I wanted to bring that to you guys, and then Mr. MBB3 did a video the other day, and we've talked about this object next to the sun for a long time. Okay, now why do we think that this particular capture is an object? Well, the guy that took this, I'm not going to show the video. I'm going to send you guys over to Mr. MBB's channel to go check it out. He just didn't send still shots. This is why it's important to send video if you have it. Because when you do that, you move your camera around. So if there's lens flares, these lens flares will move. I mean, you can get them to move all the way across the screen if you just turn your camera enough. So there was a couple lens flares. If you guys go watch the video, and obviously this one here has a filter on it to bring this out a little bit better. There's no way you would see this with your naked eye. But all these lens flares were moving, but this was not. Okay, it was not moving. It was staying right there, no matter what he did with his camera. So, in my mind, it pretty much validates that that's actually something up there. Now, that's the sun, right? Well, over on LASCO, on the third, okay, we see these kinds of disruptions on the cams sometimes, and it's usually caused by either like high solar winds or some sort of energy hitting these satellites, causing them to have malfunctions. And sometimes they're still taking a picture, but it looks kind of funky. It's kind of like, the way I like to explain it, it's kind of like looking at old style film and you see the negative, and you'll see you'll see one, you go to the store, you get your pictures, and you're looking at them, and then you see basically like one picture on top of another picture in the same picture, where the machine itself, the camera itself, exposed twice on that one section of film. So it was trying to show two different images, but this right here is kind of what I think happens to these satellites sometimes when these things get hit with some sort of energy. What's interesting is that obviously there's an object right there, looks like it to me, and maybe this here possibly, I guess, could be the object itself, or maybe that's the sun reacting to this thing. I don't know. But I just think it's very odd that these things are almost in the exact positions. So, take that for what that's worth. So, yeah, I'm going to probably end the video here, guys, and I'm going to show you one more thing. This right here was back again on, I believe it was the 5th? Well, it might have been on the 10th. Yeah, it was on the 10th of September, 2017, where Brian was trying to show me, this big CME that kept happening. Well, when I looked at the, excuse me, the SDO of that day, this is what I see. Now, is that whatever? Is that part of the CME just at the right exact angle and it's catching like a starburst effect? Regardless, that's a very cool picture, I think. It's beautiful, actually. So, did the CME cause this, or did something cause the sun to have a CME? That's the question, right? So, we will go over to right here. Actually, I'm going to just back that up a little bit. So, this is what we see, right? We've seen that. That's pretty much what I just showed you. Okay. There's that. That's even clearer, like a clearer high definition picture there. Looks very cool. Then we see this. Okay, you see the distortion now? I think that's because the CME probably was shooting off energy and it was starting to affect the satellite here. So that's just my opinion. And then we got this. This is what makes me question whether or not something caused the CME that's close to the sun, or if this was something that the CME just did. Okay, I personally have never seen a CME on the SDO come up with this specific pattern or signature. What I'm talking about is this right here. And then you got this thing going right up the middle. Okay, can you guys see that? Let me zoom in a little bit more. All right, it almost looks like something's traveling that direction, because this right here, that's an awful straight line. Okay, not to mention it's got the, like I said, this thing's bowing that way. Now, if something was blowing, like when you blow something, Yeah, that didn't sound very good, did it? Sorry. Just got talking about vulgarity in the comment section. Here I am just spouting that off. Yeah, anyway. If the sun was to shoot something off of it, wouldn't it make sense that it should bow that direction? And not this direction? And again, I mean, even making this weird signature, it's just really, really odd. I don't... And like I said, guys, I have not seen a whole bunch of CMEs on the SDO, so I don't know if it's a normal thing. It just looked like it wasn't supposed to be like that. That's all. So, you know, you guys run with that. Give me your opinion down there, would you? I'd like to know what this actually is. If this is actually an object causing this, maybe a big sun diver or, you know, whatever. Or if this is an actual object that's hanging around the sun. But you know, given this thing right there and the bow this way, I just don't know. You know, it looks like it might be traveling that direction. That's all I'm saying. But I thought that was interesting. And again, that was back in 2017. Oh, the live show that I did over at Planet X News with Scott and Dr. Albers and Jeff P. Scott was showing two pictures side by side. Okay, it was it was trying to show there was an object in the sun's corona over here. Okay, well, there was a coronal hole very similar to that right there, but it was kind of facing this direction. And he was putting two different SDO images of the same timestamp, or like 5 or 10 minutes. I can't remember if it was exact, but it doesn't really matter. But that coronal hole stayed in the same spot. Okay, and I had asked Scott, I said, what is that? Now, I knew that was a coronal hole, okay? I just didn't ask the question in the right way. I thought that he was putting, that's why it kind of surprised me, because I thought he was putting up two different pictures of the sun from 2 different days, and it would be extremely, extremely odd to see the same exact spot, coronal hole on the sun being that same exact location. That's why I asked that question. I just misunderstood what was going on at the time. So, you know, just wanted to clarify that. But, yeah, I mean, I didn't think that I know what a coronal hole is, okay? Matter of fact, they cause solar winds. I mean, it increases, you know, when the Earth facing and things. But yeah, again, a lot of thanks out there to Scott for sending me all those maps so I could help explain to my subs what, you know, where these satellites are sitting. And, you know, Brian, thank you for, if that is actually who sent this stuff from last year to me. I'm going to go research that, and I'll be back with that in my next video and, you know, clarify who actually pointed me this direction. It wasn't me that found this at first. It was him. So, what else was I going to say? I was going to say something else here, and I kind of forget. Oh, yeah, the video I did of, I was showing part of the sun simulator, and, you know, I put 3 different pictures together, stacked on top of each other, and I'm just going to touch on this briefly. The picture I used came from one of Jeff P's video, and Jeff kind of got misled, I guess we could say. We'll just leave it at that. You guys can go watch his video. He didn't do that on purpose at all. Just want everybody to know that. But that actually ended up being out of a Star Trek movie. Okay? That stuff happens, guys. Even if we research it all the way to the end, sometimes we still miss it. And it could be something else. And I don't know if anybody was intentionally doing that to try to get some stuff across, or if it wasn't Jeff P. I know Jeff P. wouldn't do that. But what I'm saying is how this all came around, I'm just not 100% sure. But that was something from a Star Trek movie. I just wanted to clarify that. And I'll show that picture in a later video. But again, thanks to everybody that's been helping me and bringing me along. You know, I learned a lot just from being on that live show with Scott and Dr. Albers and Jeff the other day. So I hope I'm getting better for you guys. I really do. I'm trying to understand this the best I can and to explain myself the correct way. So, again, one more time, thanks for sending that stuff to me, Scott, because I wouldn't have been able to explain it as well. So, anyway, God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.